Look, the real question isn't if Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks got to Drake. It's more like, how deep do those wounds actually go? Not Like Us wasn't just another song, it was a full-blown cultural earthquake. We're talking a global anthem, chanted by millions. And yeah, a Grammy-winning track that basically painted Drake into a corner he's never really seen before. The accusations are incredibly serious, the public backlash has been non-stop, and pretty much everyone in hip-hop agrees Kendrick landed a knockout. So, this isn't just about one song anymore, it's about an entire empire. Can Drake's meticulously built reign actually withstand this kind of hit? And what moves, if any, can he even make to save not just his pride, but his whole career? The simmering feud between Drake and Kendrick Lamar, a decade in the making, exploded in March 2024. Kendrick kicked it all off with his incendiary verse on Future and Metro Boomin's Like That, where he dismantled the Big Three concept in rap, boldly declaring, "It's just Big Me." That lit the fuse. Drake, never one to shy away from conflict, retorted with push-ups, mocking Kendrick's stature and record deal. He followed up with tailor-made freestyle, stirring controversy by using AI-generated Tupac Shakur vocals. This was classic Drake, confident, somewhat dismissive, and ready for battle. But what unfolded next caught everyone off guard. Kendrick Lamar unleashed a series of diss tracks with astonishing speed and lethal precision. Euphoria was a direct, vicious assault, targeting Drake's authenticity and even his parenting. Then, 616 in LA landed, a more calculated, almost ominous warning. Drake attempted to regain the upper hand with Family Matters, a track filled with his own serious accusations against Kendrick, including domestic abuse. However, Kendrick's response was almost instantaneous and utterly devastating. Within minutes, he dropped Meet the Grams. This track hit differently. It was dark, intensely personal, and addressed Drake's family directly, alleging a secret child and painting a grim picture of Drake himself. The shockwaves were immediate. And then, as if to seal Drake's fate, Not Like Us arrived. Produced by Mustard, the track was an undeniable banger, but its lyrics were radioactive. Kendrick accused Drake and his OVO crew of predatory behavior, even labeling Drake a certified pedophile and a cultural vulture. The song exploded, becoming a cultural phenomenon almost overnight. It soared to the top of the Billboard Hot 100, repeatedly returning to number 1, propelled by its infectious beat and Kendrick's relentless, damning lines. It shattered streaming records, becoming the fastest rap song to achieve massive numbers on Spotify. The internet erupted with memes. Metro Boomin amplified the situation with the viral BBL Drizzy Beat Challenge, and public opinion appeared to swing decisively. Not Like Us wasn't merely a diss track. It felt like a public shaming orchestrated by Kendrick. The fallout from Kendrick's lyrical assault has been complex and severely damaging for Drake, triggering a chain reaction of consequences that continue to ripple through his career. Kendrick's lines, particularly in Not Like Us and Meet the Grams, weren't just clever insults, they were meticulously crafted narratives that struck at the core of Drake's public image. Those accusations of predatory behavior, whether true or not, deeply resonated, hitting a nerve in a way previous critiques of Drake hadn't. This led to a massive, visceral public backlash. Memes and social media trends amplified the negativity, transforming incredibly serious allegations into viral punchlines at Drake's expense. This wasn't just about Drake losing a rap battle, it was about him losing control of his own narrative. His carefully polished image as the charming global superstar was suddenly overshadowed by a much darker, almost sinister portrayal. Polls even indicated a noticeable decline in Drake's popularity among those following the feud. For many, his credibility in hip-hop, a genre he has commercially dominated for years, suffered a major blow. People began to question, was this akin to Jay-Z versus Nas, a clash of titans that ultimately elevated both? Or was it more like 50 Cent dismantling J. Rule, a genuine career ender? Increasingly, the consensus seemed to be that Drake was experiencing a Ja Rule-esque situation. His response track, The Heart Part 6, in which he denied all allegations and claimed he had fed Kendrick misinformation, was widely panned by critics and fans alike. It failed to flip the script back in his favor. Drake's empire is founded on immense commercial success. His streaming numbers are astronomical, fueled by a vast catalog of hits spanning various genres. While his overall numbers aren't likely to plummet overnight, the feud has undeniably caused significant disruption. Not Like Us didn't just dominate the charts, it did so by directly attacking Drake. Thus, his rival's biggest song became his biggest public relations nightmare. The OVO brand, consistently associated with Drake's cool, aspirational lifestyle, has definitely suffered. Its sheen has diminished. One must wonder about the impact on endorsements and future partnerships, though the concrete effects may not be visible for some time. The old Drake curse, often joked about in relation to athletes he supports, appeared to boomerang back onto him. Many commentators suggested he was the one cursed by Kendrick's lyrical onslaught. His attempt to pivot with an R&B album with Party Next Door, Om Exi Ong's For You, in early 2025, was seen by some as a strategic retreat to his lover boy persona, rather than a direct confrontation with the damage from the beef. And while the album reportedly performed well in R&B streaming initially, whether it truly helped heal the wounds from the feud remains debatable. Things took a dramatic turn when Drake sued Universal Music Group, UMG, the label for both him and Kendrick, in early 2025. Drake alleged that UMG defamed him by releasing and promoting Not Like Us, claiming the song pushed false and dangerous allegations, particularly the pedophilia claims, and that the label employed questionable tactics to ensure its success. He even highlighted Kendrick's performance of Not Like Us and Euphoria at the Super Bowl 59 halftime show in his updated complaint, arguing it broadcast these defamatory claims to a massive audience. This move by Drake was highly controversial. Many in the hip-hop community viewed it as a violation of the unwritten rules of rap battles. Disputes are settled on wax, not in court. It risked alienating fans and other artists, potentially making Drake appear unable to accept a lyrical defeat. UMG countersued, attempting to have the lawsuit dismissed. They argued that diss tracks are a form of artistic expression filled with rhetorical hyperbole, not intended to be taken as literal fact. They also pointed out that Drake himself had previously signed petitions against using rap lyrics as legal evidence. This entire legal entanglement could become a significant quagmire for Drake, potentially unearthing more than he desires and fueling further negative press. Additionally, the feud has reportedly exacerbated tensions with UMG, especially since Drake's contract was due for renegotiation in 2025. This lawsuit adds another complicated layer to those negotiations and his overall standing in the industry. The artist once considered the undisputed king now appears to be fighting wars on multiple fronts: lyrical, public, and legal. So, can Drake, an artist who has seemed unbeatable for over a decade, actually bounce back from this? If a path to redemption exists, it is certainly not an easy one. Let's be realistic, Drake has an incredible track record. He's a hit-making machine with a global fan base that extends far beyond core hip-hop aficionados. He has weathered storms before, often using new music to shift the conversation. And those streaming numbers, accumulated over years at the top, provide him with a substantial safety net. But this situation is different. The accusations Kendrick leveled, especially in Not Like Us, are on another plane. They aren't merely about who is a better rapper or more authentic. They concern character and alleged criminal acts. This makes the damage much harder to repair, particularly in hip-hop, where authenticity and respect are paramount. His pop appeal might keep his songs on the charts, but his standing within the culture that birthed him, that is undeniably shaken. For Drake, it's no longer just about selling records. It's about salvaging a legacy. If Drake intends to attempt a comeback, his strategy must be precise. Musically, he is in a challenging position. Does he continue to address the beef, risking further lyrical attacks he might not win? Or does he ignore it and try to move forward, which could be perceived as weakness or an inability to credibly deny the claims? His first musical response, The Heart Part 6, was widely regarded as a failure. His subsequent release, the R&B project Om Exi Ong's For You with Party Next Door, seemed to be a shift away from direct confrontation, perhaps an attempt to reconnect with his female fan base and the smoother sound that initially brought him fame. Some argue that only a return to top-tier focused rap, reminiscent of his earlier critically acclaimed work, could even begin to restore his hip-hop credibility. On the public relations front, Drake's options are limited and equally tricky. Maintaining a low profile might allow the storm to pass, but silence can also be interpreted as an admission of guilt. Directly addressing the allegations is a minefield. One misstep could exacerbate the situation. Reconnecting with his fan base requires more than just new music. It likely necessitates a noticeable change in his demeanor, perhaps even a display of humility, a trait not typically associated with Drake. Some industry insiders have suggested he should drop the UMG lawsuit to allow things to cool down. Mustard, who produced Not Like Us, essentially advised Drake to abandon tactics and gimmicks and concentrate on making good music. Drake himself hinted back in March 2025 on Instagram that his next moves might make people uneasy, but would offer clarity. This suggests he is aware of the extent of the damage and is planning some form of response, though its nature remains unknown. Saving his legacy is Drake's most significant battle now. The stain of Kendrick's accusations, especially the pedophile narrative, is incredibly difficult to erase, regardless of its veracity. These are claims that stick in the public consciousness. Not Like Us achieved something rare. It became a Grammy-winning, chart-topping global smash, while being a direct character assassination of another top-tier artist. Kendrick didn't just win the battle, he altered the rules of engagement and potentially changed how Drake will be remembered. What would a comeback even signify for Drake at this juncture, reclaiming his previous level of commercial success? That is plausible, given his fan base, but regaining that same level of universal respect and being the undisputed top figure in hip-hop, that appears to be a much, much more arduous climb. The perception of him as a culture vulture, as some critics have argued, has only intensified. The future of Drake's reign is uncertain. He still commands a massive audience and, undeniably, possesses a real talent for creating hits. But his armor has been pierced, and the illusion of his invincibility, that has vanished. Kendrick Lamar's onslaught wasn't just a few diss tracks, it was a seismic event that has compelled everyone to reevaluate Drake's place among hip-hop's legends. The fight for Drake's legacy is far from over, but the road ahead is steeper and more perilous than any he has ever encountered. The damage is clear, public opinion has definitely shifted, and the legal fights are really just getting started. Drake built an empire, no doubt, but Kendrick Lamar's lyrical siege has left some serious cracks in its foundation. While his commercial power might hold up, Drake's cultural standing within hip-hop has taken a beating it might never fully recover from. That road back to being the undisputed king for Drake? It's incredibly steep, maybe even impossible. What do you all think? Can Drake actually make a comeback from this? Or has Kendrick's onslaught permanently changed his career and legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.